everyone. It's World Mental Health Day. So again, welcome. I am Catherine de la Cruz, among the psychologists for prescription psychiatrists. So ready for the second part? Okay. Great. Is great actually a feeling? Is great an emotion? How are you, ma'am? Touch. Touch isn't an emotion. How are you, ma'am? Okay isn't an emotion. In my sessions, that's what I always say. How are you today? Okay lang, sakto, chill. But that's not an emotion, right? Okay. Let's try to use emotion words. Now it's easier. Today it's easier because of a lot of emotion. We don't find it easy to label the feeling, so we just use emoticon. Okay. But let's again try. How are you using an emotion word? How are you, sir?
Happy.
Happy. Of course, that's an emotion. Thank you. I'm glad you're happy. How are you now? Satisfied. What about you? Excited. Okay. Do you see? We can actually label emotion, and that's a very big part of our discussion right now. Okay, learning to label the emotion, going away from the sakto, chill, okay lang, medyo. Okay, we want to go away from that because that's not emotion management. Okay. So we know emotions. Emotion is part of us being humans. Okay. Anyone here who would say, I don't feel any emotion? Go ahead. Okay. Emotion is something complex. Okay, it's a wide range. Okay, so it's not really limited to happy, sad, mad, glad. But these are the basic ones. Okay, the clusters of emotions. Okay. For today, we're gonna talk about the three. What are these three? Sad, angry, or the mad, and the confused, scared. Okay, so diba? Basic ones are happy, glad, mad, sad, and scared. Okay, so the glad is okay. Diba? We can always talk. We can openly talk about it when we're happy, when we're excited, when we're proud, when we're just excited about something. So there's no issue on that. Okay? But what if you will notice, mas mahirap pag-usapan pag negative. Okay? So if I'm gonna ask you, when was the last time you feel humiliated? It's something that you do not want to talk about. Okay? Or when was the last time you feel broken-hearted or sad? You wouldn't easily talk about it, okay? Because it's uncomfortable. Okay, so these three is going to be our main focus. So the sad, the mad or the angry, and the scared. Okay. So these three brings us distress. This is the emotional distress. Okay, distress meaning something that's uncomfortable, something we do not want or we're trying to avoid. Tama? So when we talk, this is emotional distress. Okay? So when we talk about distress tolerance, okay, it refers now to the idea, the perception that this is something that is unbearable. Okay. Unbearable, this is unacceptable, I want to get out of it. Okay. Do you find yourself in this state at some point, let's say, one point or another, ito yung nakikita niyo, or this is what you tell yourself? Okay. So it's, you would find yourself saying, or you might have a friend saying, I can't stand this. Broken-hearted, si Besh. Besh, broken-hearted. Ayoko na. I can't do this anymore. Okay, katapusan ko na. Okay, I want to stop. I don't want this feeling. Okay, that is distress intolerance. Okay, the emotional distress is not a problem. Okay, it's just an emotion, being uncomfortable for us. Okay, the problem comes in when the perception is saying this is unacceptable. I want to get out of it. That's when it becomes a problem. As you see, there are other people who has no problem being sad, right? You must have heard of stories of artists, diba? They get to be more creative when they're driven by sadness. They get to, let's say, like Adele. She comes up with very good songs because she's broken-hearted. Or Taylor Swift. Okay? So, the sadness doesn't necessarily mean a problem. Okay? To others, it's when they are angry that they get to make changes. Okay? Or even when they are scared. Okay, so it's when a person is scared that they try to make actions to protect themselves. So there's really no problem with that. Okay? The problem comes in when the perception or the perception with regards to the feeling is something that's negative, that is not acceptable. Okay? Now, let's find out if you are distress intolerant. So in the worksheets given there, you have the checklist. Okay. So there are statements there. On the second column, you just put a tick or a check mark if you find yourself feeling those that were identified. Okay. Please raise your hand if you have 7 check marks and above. 7 and above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, 7. Okay, that's good to know. Ibig sabihin, majority in this room are actually resilient. They're actually distress tolerant. Okay, but don't worry for those who have raised their hands. Okay, gagawa natin ang paraan. Okay, so learning, like what I said, learning the skills. Okay, it's a skill. It's something that we can learn. Okay, through practice. So am I distress tolerant? If most of your answers, or if you have checked most of the items, it says yes. Okay. Now, what do we want to happen? What we want to develop is healthy distress tolerance. Okay. As we know, anything that's in extreme is not healthy. Anything that's in extreme is not good. Okay. If you are extremely intolerant of distress, what do you think would happen? Extremely intolerant of what do you think might happen? You might, yes, what? You might not feel anything. Okay? Intolerant. For some, they try to numb themselves, okay? Because they cannot tolerate anything, alright? Yes, that could happen. What else? If you're extremely intolerant of the stress, what do you think might happen? Anyone? You can easily give in to depression, okay? You might develop some depressive symptoms. Okay, true? Yes, ma'am. Okay, tendencies to be a lot irritable, get into conflicts with people. Yes. What else? Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna stand alone, you won't have friends, and everybody will hate you.
And we don't want that to happen. Okay. What about if you're extremely tolerant of distress? Everything is okay. What do you think will happen? You don't care. Okay, what else? self-contained tendency, you can also isolate, brethren. Okay. If a person is extremely tolerant of distress, the person wouldn't care, everything is okay, then there won't be any action to change the situation that is unpleasant. Because tolerant eh. Nagkakagulo na sa paligid mo, okay lang yan. Okay? Loko ka na, okay lang yan. That's extremely tolerant, right? So what we want to develop is a healthy distress tolerance. Okay? We can feel it, but we can manage it. Okay? Why? Why do we need to manage? Okay? There's a paradox here. Okay? Paradox, the more we fear or struggle with and try to avoid any form of distress, generally the worse that the distress gets. What does it mean? You know, emotions or the distress, papansin sila. The more na tinatago mo, the more that you're trying to push it to the back of your head, the more it kicks. Okay, the more you feel worse. I'm sad, but I cannot be sad. I push it to the back of my head. But you know, you realize it's just getting worse. Okay, so that's the paradox of it. So basically what we mean to say is we want to manage the emotions by dealing with it. Okay. But we have our own ways of dealing with distress. Okay, remember we use the term distress to talk about uncomfortable, inconvenient feelings. Okay? Sige. Let me just go around the room and ask, what's your usual way of dealing with your distress? Okay? Sino ba? I walk a lot. And because we said this is a workshop, it means there has to be an action. So my target is to have everyone talk action. Okay, so whenever you're in distress, what do you usually do? Yes, ma'am.
Talk to someone.
Talking to someone. What about you?
Same thing.
Seeking for support. Yes. Very help. Okay. What about the others? What about you, sir?
Talking to my wife.
Talking to your wife. Very good. Anyone who resorts to eating? Yes, or raise your hand. Eating. Sleeping. Drinking. You know, iinom na lang natin yan. Wala? Inom. Okay. What else? Working. Okay. We have our own. Okay. We all have our own ways of dealing with the distress. Now let's find out which is healthy, which is not healthy. Okay. Very common we hear is escape. Okay. Because the emotion, the distress is uncomfortable. This is something that we do not like. First thing in mind is to stop it. Keep it. Push it. Conceal it. Okay, let it go. But these are actually escape methods. Okay. Escape methods, these are short, they are good, although the effect is very short term. Okay. Let's say, avoidance. You avoid a situation that is uncomfortable. Let's say you're getting anxious about an exam. So, for you not to feel the anxiety, you don't go take the exam. You're anxious about the job interview, and you don't want that. You don't want to feel that. So what you do, you avoid the job interview. Okay? That's an escape. Or reassurance seeking. Okay. Away kayo. Pag-aritan ka ni boss, so it saddened you, or there's a mix of emotion there. To escape, you seek for reassurance. Di ba, Besh, tama naman ako. Diba? Okay. Mali naman talaga si boss eh. Tama yung ginawa ko. That's reassurance because that's your way of calming yourself. Okay? Pag umuko si Besh, okay ka na. Okay? But that is very temporary. Okay? And that can also fall under avoidance. Distraction and suppression. Okay, distraction is trabaho na lang ako, sige, bahala na. I don't want to feel this, I have to work. Okay. To some, it's okay. Okay? We'll talk about it, why it's not so okay. Okay. So distraction or suppression. Okay, constantly telling yourself, stop thinking about it, stop feeling it. Okay, push it to the back of your head. That is still under escape methods. Okay, that's one. We'll go back to that later on. The other part is numbing and withdrawing. Okay, there's an emotional distress. I don't want this. I need this to go away. So I resort to alcohol, to drugs, eating. Because when I eat, I feel happy, but it's very temporary. Pag natunaw na yung kinain mo, you feel sad again. Or you feel the distress again. Okay? And then excessive sleep. I hear this with a lot of our clients. Okay? I sleep. Because if I sleep, I don't think, I don't feel. As if I'm not existing. This is escape. Okay? Any one of you doing this? Okay. The other one is harmful release. Okay? They want to stop what they're feeling. Okay? So they resort to physical harm. Okay? Sometimes to others they would say, it's better that I see it physically, what is painful, than not see anything. So they cut themselves, they pinch, they punch, they bang their heads on the wall. That's self-harm. Okay? But the aim is to temporarily escape from the emotion, from the distress. Okay? But as we said, this is not what we want to develop. This is not the emotion management that we want. Okay? So, how? What do we do? Okay. First is to see emotions in a different perspective. Okay. We don't like the negative emotions. Okay. But negative emotions are actually important for survival. Okay. We identified three: the sad, the mad, and the scared. Okay. How do you think it's actually important for survival? Any guess? Why is being scared important for survival? What do you think? It's that? It's a fight or flight. If you feel scared when you see a threat in your environment, diba? So the tendency is you actively to protect yourself from the threat. If not, then you might get into trouble. You might harm yourself, or you might have another person get harmed. So, in that way, fear is important. It's important for survival. Okay? If you're not scared about the job interview, you will not prepare for it. Right? So, in that way, it is important. Now, what about being angry? In what way it's important? Okay. So you show your emotions or when you're angry. Okay. So it's important. There's a release of emotion. Okay, what else? Yes, ma'am. Discipline. In what way?
Kapag nagagalit, nakakita na madidiscipline, for example, yung bata.
Okay.
Kasi mali yung ginawa.
When you're angry, our way of when there's anger, there's an intent to correct something. If you're not angry, then everything is okay. So kahit niloloko ka na, you're not angry, the person will take it, okay lang pala, I'll continue with my behavior. So anger is important because in that way, you're initiating for something to change. Okay? Diba? You see it in your office, you see it at home. Hanggat hindi nagagalit si mama o si papa, walang titino. Hanggat hindi nagagalit si boss, nothing will get done. Okay? So anger is actually important. Okay? But it's the manner of expressing the anger that is another issue. Okay? But that's anger management. Anyway, next. What about sadness? In what way is it important? Sadness is something that we've been trying to avoid. Nobody wants to be sad. But then here we are saying that sadness is actually important for survival. In what way? This seems to be a difficult question. Because of that, I'm willing to give a chocolate. Meron pa ba? Carl, meron pa chocolate? Meron pa daw. Okay. In what way is sadness actually important for survival?
Please use the mic.
I think it's because you release an emotion and you show that you're compassionate or you, I don't know, yeah. I'm not sure that's right. I said it the right way.
Good news, there's no right or wrong answers. So here's your chocolate.
In what way is sadness important for survival?
It allows you to show your vulnerability, and it's an opportunity to think more about yourself. So, self-awareness and self-acceptance.
Alright, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. For my last piece of chocolate, what do you think?
Sadness is important because you have to appreciate everything. You learn to appreciate everything. So, I think it's
Perfect. Okay. We feel sad when we lose something, right? Okay. So that's when we get to recognize or realize that something is important to us. Okay. So it is through sadness that we give value to things. Okay. That's why it's also considered important. Okay. So we go back. We said emotion management starts by seeing the emotion in a different angle. Okay. So even if there is anger, even if there's sadness or fear, we look at it in a way that it is just important for survival. Okay? That's another way of looking at it. Also, we see emotions that as something that's not permanent. Nobody stays sad the rest of your life. Tama? Okay. That's always been the fear. Okay, you go through a heartbreak, the person is crying because she's very afraid that she will be feeling sad all throughout her life. Okay, but actually, emotions are not permanent. Okay, they intensify and then they settle down until it fades away. Okay, please always remember that. Whenever you're in distress, first thing in mind is to tell yourself, remind yourself, hey, this isn't permanent. Okay? This is temporary, these too shall pass. Just like waves in the ocean, will hit you, move back, and then back again until it comes down. That is emotion. Okay? So what I'm saying isn't alien because we experience this. Diba? How you're feeling last week isn't the same as how you're feeling right now. So that just say it's not permanent. Next thing, we can see emotion as, like what I said, it acts like a wave. Up, down, back, up, down, and then it comes down. First, so looking at the emotion is one, looking at it in a different perspective. Another is accepting that there is distress. Accept it. Okay. But when we say accept, it doesn't mean that you have to like the emotion. Who would like to be sad? Who would like to be terrified? Who would like to be angry all the time? Nobody. Okay. But when we said accept that, we just say seeing the emotion as it is. Okay. Yes, I'm sad. Okay. So accepting doesn't mean we wallow. Okay? Or we just accept, ito na ako, misarado na yung buhay ko. That's not acceptance. Acceptance, we mean you accept, you see the negative emotion as it is. we get to be mindful. Okay. Mindful meaning you take the emotion, you look at it as if you're another person observing. Okay. What am I feeling? What do I call this? Okay. Like what we said earlier, it can be just okay, not okay, good, bad, positive, negative. Hindi. Being mindful of your emotions meaning putting a label. Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling guilty, regretful? So that is being mindful. So how? Let's try to be a little more specific about it. So, how to accept distress, ibig sabihin is first you watch. You become your own observer of your own emotions. You watch, you observe. Okay. This is sadness. What made me say it's sadness? Because I feel a little heavy in my chest. Okay. So you observe it.
This is sadness. I know this is sadness because I'm crying. That is observing.
And then you describe. Okay. This is an exercise I would do in my therapy sessions. Let's say you're sad. Okay. From 1 to 10, where are you at? Okay. Because emotion is something that we can actually quantify, but if we put some label and some more descriptions, maybe we can express it better. Okay. So you describe examine. I'm sad, okay? I recognize this, that I am sad. What is making me sad? Well, because I lost a job. Okay? I'm sad because I found out my boyfriend has been cheating on me. Okay? So I'm sad. Or I'm sad because of this, because of that. Okay? Recognizing without any judgment. That is very important. And then image. Okay. Some, it helps for them to have an image. What is this emotion like? Okay, so we used earlier like an imagery of a wave. Okay, I'm feeling this emotion like a wave. Okay, pushing me to the ends. Or it could be like an empty room. Okay, you would hear this to friends who are struggling with depression. I feel like there's a very big hole in my body that's sucking all the energy. Okay? That's their image of their emotions, of their distress. Or they would say an image of a train. Ang bilis. Okay, so that is image. Okay, so it helps you learn more about your emotion when you use an image. You sleeping, eating a lot, breathing, alcohol, smoking. These are the escape methods. Okay, so improving the stress would mean doing the opposite, exact opposite. So we have here the opposite actions. These are, this is what we've mentioned. Okay, binge eating, sleeping, distraction, avoiding. Sabi, to improve the stress is to do the exact opposite. You want to run away, you stay. Feel it. Just stay. Feel. Ride with it. It's okay. You're not gonna die if you feel sad. It's okay. It's part of us being humans. There's nothing wrong. Feeling sad, feeling angry, feeling scared. Okay? That is riding along with it. Okay? And then the last is to act on it. Act and soothe. Okay, what do we mean by that? In your worksheets, you have there a list. So when we say act or activities, meaning these are the things that you could actively participate while you are feeling the distress. So dito, babalik, see if you're working, doing something that's active. Okay. So, there. Activities, activate. Okay, so it could be exercise. Okay, you recognize the feeling already. And you act on it by doing your exercise. You walk, you jog, you go to the gym, anything. Okay, this is to act on it. Or you act or you soothe yourself. Okay. When we say soothe yourself, these are things that you do to make yourself feel warmth, to make yourself feel that somebody cares. Okay? That's why you go talk to a friend. That's why you reach out for a hug. That's why you go for a peaceful dinner. That's soothing exercises. Okay? Anyone of you has been doing anything in the list? Yes. Okay? Kaya uso-uso si massage, si spa. Because these are all soothing exercises. Okay? So these are part of it. Okay? So you will see it can overlap. It's okay. Right. What is important is we put a balance. Okay? Balance between accepting and improving. We can't always just focus on improving. Okay? We can't just focus on all this. Otherwise, this will now translate to just escaping. Okay, so very important na rin yung first part, accepting. Okay, so remember that negative emotions are important for survival. Okay, the stress is not permanent, but a changing experience that's always fluctuating and it eventually passes. Okay, these too shall pass. We hear it a lot of times. These too shall pass. And maybe that is something that you can keep telling yourself whenever you're in distress. Okay? So maintaining a balance between the acceptance and the improvement is the key to building the distress tolerance. Okay? So remember, distress tolerance is not just about activities, what do you do? Okay? First is accepting, recognizing. Okay? And then improving. Okay? Always remember this. Feel. Allow yourself to feel. Okay? So, this is something now that we learn already. But this isn't learning yet. Learning until there's practice. So, this is something that you're gonna take home. Okay? So, from my understanding, most of you here came because they want to help someone else. Okay? Remember, you cannot give what you do not have. Okay? So if we want to help another person learn this kind of skills, we first try to practice it ourselves. Okay? Dali lang naman. Okay? But of course, sometimes emotion gets too intense. Okay? It gets too much in just one topic. Okay? You have on your worksheet an action plan. On the second part. Hello? Okay. The second part, or on the worksheets, it's actually a summary of what we have discussed. Okay. So that's yours. You can take time to read. So, can we just do it like an assignment or you want to do it now? Okay. We lay down something. It's up to you to take it. Okay. But of course, nandito na rin naman tayo, diba? Nothing to lose. Let's try doing it. Okay, so, it's an assignment for everyone, and it's also something that maybe you can share with your friends or your family. Okay, or maybe colleagues, or if there are teachers here or guidance counselors to your students. Alright, unless you have questions, thank you so much. Kat, I am Catherine de la Cruz. Please call me Kat. Not a doctor, psychologist po. So, Kat is right. Ang hirap yung tanong. Sorry for that. No, wala na po. Okay, questions, sir? Ma'am? Yes po.
Hello. Miss Kat, thank you for this distress tolerance action plan. I was actually looking at it kanina earlier. Pero can you give us a sample as to how we can do it correctly?
Alright, sige. Sige na nga, let's do it all together. Okay. Please take a look at your action plan. So, mind triggers. These are the triggers, okay? So just to give you an idea, triggers are the stressful situations. It could be like relationship problems, family problems, friendship problems. Okay, these are triggers. So events, situations, or maybe people who could trigger a distress, an emotional distress. A situation, you got fired, you got terminated, you got a zero in your exam. That could be a trigger. Tama? Okay. So, warning signs. Okay, take a look at the second page. Warning signs could either be thoughts, feelings, physical sensation, or urges or actions. Okay. Warning signs, mas madali natin nakikita yung physical sensations. Okay. You know, it's something seems to be wrong or something doesn't seem right pag kumakabog yung dibdib mo. Di ka makahinga ng maayos. You feel restless. Okay. These are warning signs. Okay. Or it could be thoughts. Sit down. Examine your thoughts. Okay. If in your thoughts you see, you tell yourself or you catch yourself saying, I can't do this anymore, this is it, this is the end of my life, this is the end of the road. Those are warning signs. Okay? So it could be a thought, it could be a feeling, it could be a physical sensation, or it could even be an action. Okay? So, my commitment to dropping escape or doing the opposite action. Okay. It could be a self-talk. What do you tell yourself? Self, you know you want to run away, but let's just stay. It's okay to feel. Okay? That is the commitment to dropping escape methods. So, di ba sabi natin kanina, we have to do the exact opposite of our usual escape methods. So if you used to just sleep, okay, you tell yourself, this time we're just gonna keep awake and feel it. That is the commitment. Okay? Accepting the stress. So yeah, or recognize, allow the emotion. What is it? Is it sadness? Is it fear? Okay? Watch the emotion. So watching emotions, let's say you can try putting a number. Okay? Putting a number, 1 to 10. Where is it? Be present. Okay? Your breathing exercises. And then deal with the emotional comeback. Okay? Most of it could be what do you actually tell yourself. Okay? And then improving my distress, this is where the actions, the activities, and the soothing exercises will come in. Okay? Did you get it? Alright. Okay. Some more questions? Yes, ma'am? Sanor is benzodiazepines. The effect is to calm you down. Sanor, Xanax. Okay. The effect is to calm you down. Okay. There are cases masyadong extreme yung condition that the psychiatrist would prescribe benzodiazepines. Okay. Please take note. Okay, as much as we want this skill to be applicable to everyone in general, please remember that there are some cases that are considered severe. So, yes, we can try this, but it may not easily work. So, we need to still consult a professional. Okay, so it's not like a one-size-fits-all. So it's just a basic skill that we can start on. But if you see that nothing is improving with you or with a friend or with a family member, it's always best to consult a professional. Okay? Sanor, benzodiazepines, any other medication, yes, it has an effect. It could help temporarily. Okay? Kasi ang ina-address nila po is the physiological symptoms, the physiological sensations. But the internal issues, not much. Okay? Other questions? 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 Sure? 5, 4, of course, Miss B.
People say that actions speak louder than words. And a lot of times, people say, okay lang, pero yung body language. So supposedly the body language is 55% and voice tone is 38%. So dahil prayerful siya, mabait siya anak, tama lahat ang words niya. Pero ang lakas ng body language, saka yung tono, nakakapiko na. How do we handle that kind of thing?
Well, first, thank you for that input. Yes, body language has
It's a very big factor. Okay, it changes the full story. So,
lahat naman tayo can be sensitive. Okay, I'll tell you, okay lang yan. Your boss said, you came up with an output. Your boss said, sige na, okay na yan. Do you actually believe it's okay? Your child, your daughter, say, is not eating. Nakakulong lang sa kwarto. Anak, kamusta ka na? Okay lang ako. Do you believe that? Okay, so, yes, we try to balance. Okay, one is what you hear or what you read. Okay, it's another thing what you see in the action. So yes, we still give a lot of weight to what we actually see in actions. Okay, sometimes it's, although some may be very naive about it. Okay, so it's another skill then to develop some sensitivity in us. Okay, so not all we hear are all true because the body says another thing. Okay, so please, another is to develop the sensitivity.
Or just look for prescription.
Okay? So like right now, we started 1:30. Okay, it's almost 4 o'clock now. Your body says, this is too long. Okay, I might be asking you, are you still okay? And you're gonna say yes, but your body are also this is taking so long. At wala pa kami pamerienda. But yeah, thank you ma'am for that input. Yes. Another thing is being sensitive about the actions, the body language that we are receiving. Okay? So that is in terms of when we're talking to another person. Okay? Anything else? Yes, ma'am. Like what we said, anything in extreme is not healthy. Okay? Sometimes when we're very emotional, tendency is to be hypersensitive. Smallest thing dinadamdam. One word, iiyakan. Okay? So, that's why you go back. Recognizing. Okay? Remember, you recognize, you watch, you examine. Okay? Am I being very sensitive now? Okay? Am I overreacting? That's part of that examining. Okay? Anything else? I hope that answers your question. Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Yes, especially the young ones. They know what they know is this. It's very common, especially among the young ones. Ang alam lang nila, this is good, this is bad, this is positive, this is negative. Okay. You will see it in their action that something is wrong when they're irritable, angry on the smallest thing. Okay. What can we do? Help to help. Remember what Joseph said earlier. Be there, listen, and listen some more. Okay. Sometimes it's just your presence that's needed. You don't need to assess actually. You just need to be there and listen. Okay? You don't need to tell them what to do. Just be there and listen. That's the first. They don't want to talk about it. That's the first that's the first reaction. Okay. If you would be creative enough, there you can make someone. A lot of, I experienced that especially among adolescents. Dinala sila ng mommy nila to clinic so they don't know why. They don't know what to do. Okay, so you would have to be creative. Okay, you start with something casual. May ka na ba? Or did you watch the show? Okay, that's just a start. Okay, just to start something. Okay. Of course, something that is sensitive to a person, hindi niya talaga yan sasabihin agad-agad. Something that's too personal, hindi niya agad sasabihin agad-agad yan. So you have to build rapport. You have to build some connections first. Okay? Anything else? Yes, what?
Just sharing from things that happen every day with the people I meet. A lot of the kids grew up with technology. Meron mata, meron gadget. Pag kinausap ko, parang wala. So I realized, if I try to probe, it's not gonna happen. They don't talk. So you know what I said? Sige nga, kunyari wala ako dito. I-text mo sa akin. Para pag kami magte-text. So meron gano'n. They're not verbal. And they're also not so auditory. So, sometimes when they ask a simple question, parang mahirap sila. So I tell them, can you write my question? Parang yung IQ nila nasa mata. Because they're gadgets eh. So just sharing with the senior citizen, yung hindi sila bastos, hindi sila it's just that they go up with gadgets. So, it might sound silly, but you text each other in front of each other. It works.
Thank you. It's actually not a new story anymore. Diba? In the family, you're all living in
One house, you're communicating through Facebook. Your mom doesn't know that there's a problem until she saw your post.
kitchen is, the dining table is just a
Few steps, but
next mo na lang.
okay. So, anything else?
Totally natin naman is emotion, di ba? Like for example, as vlogger nga, like ako sinasabi, nag-work din ako. Pero nakaka-encounter kasi at nakakainis at ang hirap kontrolin lalo na ako sa sarili ko. Yung nakaka-encounter ako ng taong plastic at sarcastic. So paano kailangan i-handle yung ganung klaseng emotion na kapag dinaretso mo naman yung tao at sinabi mo sa kanya yung mali niya, ang balik naman sa'yo, ikaw ang masama. Tama bang manahimik ka na lang or what? Bakit pa hindi mo sinabi? So paano yun?
First thing, we do not have control over another person's behavior. Okay? So, the more kasi we try to control them, diba? In our head, dapat kasi ganito siya, dapat ganito siya. The more we get frustrated because they are not in our control. So we go back to what is controllable. What is controllable is ourselves. So we go back. Feel, accept, write, take action. Okay? No matter what we do, no matter what we say, that is another person's behavior. We can influence, but we cannot control. The more we try to control, the more it gets frustrating for us. So we go back to ourselves and manage. Feel, accept, write, take action. Maybe one time. Remember, that's why we go back to putting yourself in the present moment.
What if merong times na feeling na parang alone is still saying
Okay.
so hindi ka na makabalik sa present moment.
Remember, okay. We said being mindful. When we are being mindful, we say, when you're another person looking at the emotion, you are not the emotion. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, that gives us the idea that we are still on top of it. Okay? So if you will remind yourself of that, hindi ka tatangayuin. Okay? So that is just an image, okay? Just a way of describing the emotion. But you're still on top of it. Okay? That is just an empty room. Okay? Pero lalabas at papasok ka. Okay? That thought, that gives you the idea that you are still on top of it. Okay? One last.
This question, hindi siya related sa I'd just like to ask, kasi, when will you seek a psychiatrist or when will you seek a psychologist? Since these two mental health professions are different, so is there any protocol from you, psychologist or psychiatrist, when it regards to mental health issues and mental health concerns?
Both psychiatrists and psychologists do assessment and treatment. Okay? Nagkakaiba lang with the form of treatment. The psychiatrist's primary form of intervention is through medication. The psychologist is through talk therapy. Okay? We don't need to know, dapat ba psychiatrist, psychologist? You go to any of them, and then they will work hand in hand. I see you, I'm a psychiatrist, I see you. In my assessment, you'll benefit more to a talk therapy. I'll pass you on to my psychologist. I see you, I'm a psychologist. It seems like emotions or the symptoms are so severe that it needs to be addressed right away through medication. I pass you on to a psychiatrist. Okay. Common kasi is like parang magkalaban sa psychologist or sa psychiatrist. Let us correct that. These two work hand in hand. Okay, so no one is actually better than the other. They work together. Okay? So whether you see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, doesn't matter. You're still receiving the help that you need. Okay? And these professionals know their own limits, their own boundaries, and they know where to refer you or to whom they refer you if needed. Okay?